global trade is like this high-stakes chess match, always shifting. And today, we're doing a deep dive into one of the most interesting players out there, India.
Yeah.
We want to unpack its role in the World Trade Organization, the WTO, which is often, well, contradictory, especially now with these recent U.S. tariffs in the mix.
It's genuinely fascinating because India really is a paradox of the WTO. You see them breaking norms, challenging established rules quite often.
Right.
But then they also work hard to position themselves as a key deal maker, a kind of strong voice for the global South nations.
So that's the tension we're exploring today, India's strategy, these big...
They argue it violates the consensus principle. A key example is the Investment Facilitation for Development Agreement. Now, 125 members, mostly developing countries, actually agreed on this.
Okay.
The goal is to improve transparency, attract more foreign direct investment, and the potential upside is huge estimates suggest global welfare gains somewhere between $250 billion and maybe $1,120 billion.
Oh, wow, that's massive potential.
It is, yet India opposes it. They cite sort of past mandates incorrectly, even while they publicly say they want more foreign investment. It's perplexing to many.
India is currently the only WTO member reaching its limits on domestic agricultural support.
The only one.
The only one. For instance, their market price support for rice is at 87%.
87%.
Yeah. And for wheat, it's somewhere between 67% and 75%. The allowed limit is 10%, so vastly exceeding it.
Okay, that definitely stands out. And what about this idea of special and differential treatment? That's meant to help developing countries, right? How does India fit in?
Right. Well, India, despite being a major global economy now, strongly objects to any reforms that would differentiate among developing countries based on their actual development
Level.
So they want everyone under that umbrella treated the same.
Pretty much. Many other developing nations actually complain, maybe quietly, that India kind of silences efforts to...
Others saw as putting national interest way ahead of global sustainability.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. The recent U.S. tariffs, what exactly happened there and how did India react?
So, this was under President Trump. He signed orders bringing in what he termed reciprocal tariffs. Hit about 60 nations.
Okay.
India got slapped with a 27% tariff overall, which included a sort of baseline 10% tariff that was applied more broadly.
And India's reaction?
Pretty strong. Prime Minister Modi said he was ready to pay a very heavy price to resist what they saw as
the U.S. dictating trade policy, and the foreign ministry called the tariffs unjustified and unreasonable.
Sounds like a clear standoff. But,
Yeah.
Is it all bad news for India?
Exactly. It could potentially allow India to grab some export market share from those other economies. While the direct loss from the tariffs was estimated around maybe $9 to $13 billion, about 0.2% to 0.3% of India's GDP, which isn't insignificant.
But manageable given their large domestic economy.
Right. Their economy is quite domestically driven, plus their big services export sector wasn't directly hit by these specific tariffs.
So an interesting dynamic. A competitive edge may be emerging from a challenge, although
It's worth remembering India's own tariffs are quite high, right? Which is why they only account for about 2% of global exports.
That's a key point many experts make, yes. Lowering their own
1974 to tackle what it sees as imbalances.
Just wrapping this up, what does all this mean for you listening? Well, it means that these complex international trade fights, they're not just abstract things. They directly shape global markets, they mess with supply chains.
Yeah, and they can even impact the prices of goods you buy every day, the things on the shelves.
Absolutely.
Which really brings up a big question, doesn't it? In a world where global trade rules seem constantly under pressure, constantly challenged, how do countries genuinely balance their own immediate national interests against the
longer-term benefits of having a stable, predictable, rules-based trading system that works for everyone?
Something for you to ponder.